do that again sometime.
Yeah, there is there is only one address come, so that's you just click in not me,
Ah,
and then appear three. So you just click in the center's website, it will appear. But I think yes, and then it's okay. And it's done. Good morning, everyone. Uh, so we'll do this prayer to Manjushri. Lama dangumbo jamba yang lan chansa lo gangi londre demnyen jendra nitara namda rasa jenyen dengun jijen zijir nitjen tukara legbam zen ganda sibi zenrara mare mendon donga jizre rozo kenla Puji tarze yen lain tuju yanden zon rudaran chedro nyumo nyilon lejin chadron rozej mare menzen dunga nyugu jinyin jenze rajin tenen dajin saju tarzan Yönden lüzon gelsin tüven gu çudan çudan çunyin cincin dalümünse cambe yanlandu mara bazana diyor 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 Marapazana deo 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 Umara Pazana Deo Mara 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 Pazana Umara Pazana Deo Mara 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 Pazana Umara Pazana De Zeden Jiji Chenra Vizre Dale demo membarazane kadan denje shunlon to bai loje pobe no anzandu so sonje danje jingo redan jingo janze chanda kaden zonda majeba balaw jinji jijab jimbe mondo jima me balam gura dunde de bozongo bajimbe gonen chanza jinjab zujo shivanen zara domje dutu jinje zunzum baranze duzo gange shazanda emunga Gezar zimbe nonra jen zimbe zive zindu marvendo kun mi gendu zinjiru tuje dama kunen shiren jiden sum jikon jabe Tuambe magar beje bendirin dalı inzuru jun ujin zolim be mendon bozirin cevi namdu rancın injiru zenzo beje indin jombarvi be manjunen dalı inzuru jun gumbulu duariyan devadan tume nyen çolon çücinda çücun ejanam nye baozo zamlin jen çonam jenda jun Onre do garin jen nyembe gulo yendin kunjunga ve şasar do nyembe dense bebe nanjarba Longchen Ramjam Jab Jin Da Ye Shon, Ridon Jamba Shun Jano Le, Gombe Long Le Pupe Tajen Do, Londo Junze Jam Ze Ngo Wanjur, Mibam Jambi Yangi Da Ye Shon, Kongi Dala Reba Loba Dan, Doji Tenje Menga Nang La So, La Baza Dan Wanguru Shinabi, Muji Tinchen La Men Da Ye Shon, Namo Guru Chinyin Bumen Dunje, Shazala Kunja Ranjun Tuje Jimbe Ten, Tuji Kala Gomen Tanang Waldin lami jajinda ishon, yende sanje kunda nyamna yang, kadin sanje kunne labi gun, tsawi lami shala suwande, tasu andro ju cholwara shinji lo. Kondo chuju dongi jidena, ande shilo marjurba kansu da, tendir dambi chuji chambebe, sembar devanda dandir shi, namarya tamba, laye ke danlu danu jingi, endrubunda nami ke nandan, duwa kunji danam jisambar, Tamje ke doso suru te gyurji. Manjurin dowa namka danyam besim jen tamje, namdul tenji dewa la name bayan tabar zobi sanji jingu hwarin barchela. Danyi chi, chibi jine jang kubra sha, deyi che do, teba chimbi shunglo, jazi chimbo shiwa la tenyi ji zebe. Chanchu simbi choba lan juba tenyi tsul shindu sene, nyamso langwar gyo nyamdo, samba chanchu chodo tu jeba dan che do sen chaos. So the firstly generating the bodhicitta before we begin to actual teaching, which is every time that those all Buddhas in the past and bodhisattvas as well as those all great masters, and they strongly recommending that it is so important that to generating this bodhicitta. uh, so the generating bodhicitta should be in this way, that thinking all the motherly sentient beings equal to its space, and each and every individual willing to they lead them to complete enlightenment. And for that purpose, I'm going to listen this Mahayana scripture composed by Shantideva, the way of Bodhisattva's life, and then I will going to implement it with that kind of intention or the motivation and listen this teaching. And beside this motivation, and then also the conduct or the manner while listening Dharma teaching, and also we need to modify it, or the should be in this way, that listen carefully in an excellent way and then try to hold it. And that's the preparation of listening Dharma teachings. And then the actual Dharma teaching, we are studying the way of Bodhisattva's life, which has a 10th chapter and 4 theme. Among the 4 theme, that first we completed, that how, why, and how to generate Bodhisattva, and how to receive Bodhisattva's vow within oneself, which is complete. And now this based on that assuming that the person who have bodhisattva's vow, and then after that, and what we need to do is to maintain. This is very common. Everything is just like that. Maintain that first we need to have it, and once we have it, and we need to maintain. Even the small things like a phone, laptop, and all these things, first we need to get it, and after get it, and we need to take care, the maintain well. So likewise, the maintaining, it's the how to maintain this bodhisattva's vow. The second theme is how to maintain, and how to maintain that, mainly these 3 things which is required, such as the what do you call the carefulness, sense of carefulness, and vigilant and introspection count as a 1, and then the patient. So among these 3 that we already completed, how to have a sense of carefulness, and then the how to have a vigilant and introspection. So now we are here studying how to the kind of like implement the patient, that how to deal with our anger emotions, how to practice patience. And then this 6th chapter. So the how to practice patience here, and then the introducing the faults or the defeat of anger, and then the circumstances or situations that when normally we get emotion, we get anger emotion or hated emotion, and then the introducing those 24 circumstances. And then when one occur any of those 24 circumstances or the situations, then how to the deal with our emotions by there's many methods actually. Shantideva shows that, including like being a piece of wood, so that not moving, not thinking, and then likewise those method, the skills that the patients kind of like the what do you call accepting the pain or suffer, or the patient of certainty in dharma, and then the patient of not caring about humders. Like these are the main 3 methods or the skills which we completed, and beside that also many other skills. And then now today actually here that the after complete provide or the guide the how to deal with those 24 circumstances or the situations. And then the on the site, this is kind of like on the site tips, that he is also giving another 3 tips that also help us to kind of like they have a sense of patience, that how to have a patience within oneself rather than anger or hatred towards other beings. So these 3 tips are actually within these teachings. Within these 3 tips teachings, it has a so important message, and especially for nowadays, this in this world, like when kind of like someone has that this kind of the what the Shanti they were giving these 3 tips, and this kind of mindset or this kind of knowledge or information, and when one have it, and then
it can automatically reduce so many problems, such as like the kind of like a racism cases. It could be reduced too, because the first tip what Shantideva was giving is like the beings are the field of merit. So beings are the field of merit, equal as how Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are field of merit. And like that, this he's recommending, or he's saying this with the rational way, with the reason, completely with the reason. It is not something just saying it. It is with the reason. And then he is just saying being, and particularly human being. Absolutely. So the generally being, particularly human being. So there's a no any, he's not talking about any color. He's not saying, even though he is mm, Indian human. So he's not saying here, oh, the Indian humans are the field of merit as equal as how Buddhas are field of merit. He's not saying that, right? He's just saying beings or human beings are field of merit, and generally beings are field of merit. So you see, and this kind of like informations that, as always Dalai Lama mentioning, right, this having a sense of one humanity, one human. So that he always mentioning that it is very important to have this sense that first we all are human beings. This is equal human beings. So this kind of knowledge that people like Dalai Lama and all those, they're getting through this kind of message, that understanding that we should understand everyone is the kind of like a equal from the point of view of being and from the point of view of human beings. And then not just that, also each and every beings are actually the field of merit for the those are very conditioned for us to able to uh, engage into meritorious activity in general, and particularly the patient. Yes, the patient the spiritual path. Okay, patient spiritual practice, it cannot be done without others. And it's only oneself in a house, staying, no going anywhere, no contacting to anybody, there's a nothing to practice patient. So the patient practice is related with the others. It has to be connect with the others. That's how these beings are being a condition for our practice, our patient practice. So, and when we have that kind of mindset, it can also reduce like this kind of racism and the judging about color and the what you call a classes, or poor or rich, and this kind of very so many distinguished concept can be eliminated, can be reduced, can be removed from our mind. This the education's knowledge, it's very important. And then second tips, here today we are in a second tips, what it is really saying, as I said yesterday, and this victorious one. So like the kind of like this the page, the stanza 119 to stanza 127, the almost 9 stanza. This all 9 stanza is what really talking about is the second tips, which is thinking of how it pleased victorious and reverence to the beings. So you see, so the thinking of how it pleased the victorious. So the victorious, as I said, and according to the different religions, according to their one's own religions, the Victoria ones, it's considering as a, for instance, Buddhism consider Victoria. When we say Victoria, we immediately imagine the Buddha. And likewise, maybe the kind of like a Hindu, their own god, and those gods, Hindus god, and then Muslim Allah, and then Christian God. So like that way, and then many other religions is also there, Judaism and also on. So they all considering the victorious one is according to their kind of like a and the how to say faith. They are based on their faith. Whoever they reverence the most according to their religious. That's the victorious one, right? Even though those victorious one, in order to please those victorious one, the very how to say best or the uh, greatest skill or method is to pleasing beings, pleasing sentient beings. Pleasing sentient being is the greatest or best method to please them. And this is, we can understand regardless of whatever religious, even the kind of like the Christianity, Muslim, or whatsoever, they all believe, okay, based on those who believe in a creator. And then we, everybody, created by God. So, kind of like a more or less, we are kind of like a son of God. So, as I said yesterday, pleasing the son and daughter is the best way to make a relation or connection to the parents. And the parent will going to be automatically pleased through pleasing the son and daughter. That is very common sense. Right? This is very, that not just common sense, but we can really see from our naked eye. And today, as I said yesterday, it has been working since 10,000 years before, and it is working right now. And then this skill or method will going to work after 10,000 years as well. So it doesn't matter, regardless, as long as there's a parent and son, daughter, and this kind of pleasing son and daughter to pleasing parents, automatically pleasing parents, will going to be there as long as this family system is there. So therefore, this first stanza related with this stanza that I am telling you, this one very important history that we are middle of the history yesterday. The first, let me read this. The second tips. Okay, anyway, so what you need to understand is this stanza 119 to 127. This 9 stanza, it's talking about the second tips, second skills, or the methods to how to control one's anger emotion. And then rather than being anger or hated to others, one should reverence and respect others. That's what message, that's what the kind of like the guidance and Shantideva provided within this 9 stanzas, which is the first one is that as we mentioned this stanza yesterday, that the Buddhas are my two unfailing friends. Boundless are the benefit they bring to me. As I yesterday said, there shouldn't be me. There's no any me there. So just brings to beings, right? And how else may I repay their goodness, their kindness back, but by making living beings happy? So you see, pleasing living beings. Pleasing living being is the best way to repay their goodness or their kindness, because those victorious ones, and related with the Buddhism, Buddha is considering as a victorious one. Those victorious one are truly unfailing and supporter or protector for every beings, and they brings boundless of benefit to everyone, to without any what you call a racism, or without any race, or without any biased, and boundless benefits. They bring the boundless benefits to all the beings, not just to me. Here they translated me, right? So it shouldn't be me. So therefore, this is the reason. Therefore, since they wants to benefit the boundless benefits to the every beings, Just like parents, how they willing to support and benefit their own children. And then if somebody else and supporting their children, then they will going to be more than happy, because they have this willing to support and help and provide that they fulfill their wishes, right? And then without themselves, and somebody is also how to say, supporting together, and somebody is also fulfilling, supporting their willing, their wishes. Then when someone support, okay, for instance, when someone supports my wishes, my willing, and then I will going to be pleased by that support, isn't it? So like that. So the Buddhas, the victorious ones, are unfailing friends who brings the boundless of benefits to all the sentient beings. So therefore, this is the reason, therefore, and then how else may I repay their kindness or goodness but by making living beings happy? And related with this one, but making living being happy. And that's why I'm telling you this history yesterday, that the what Shakyamuni Buddha taught in the sutra of the kind of like a, what do you call Ngaljung Do, kind of like a delivering or giving birth sutra. So the giving birth sutra or delivering sutra, or we can say the delivering sutra. In that, as I said earlier, right, this is conversation going between Buddha and Anand, that when only two of them in a very resting in the beside the pond, where has a lot of beautiful flowers, and they just calm, rest, and then they are just conversating. And Anand, he thought now this is his chance to ask his own personal doubt or suspect or questions to him. And then he raised this question that how that beings, that particularly human beings here, how this is human being, how human beings, what is the reason behind that we born as a human being, and then how human beings are spending their life, and then what's the purpose, that how to spend our human beings' life in a meaningful way. And this is the question he raised it at that moment. And then according to his question, then Buddha's answering first that how that we human being kind of like a borning or taking birth and then growing, right? So we are already here, that birth and a little bit growing. So yesterday that we are here and gradually, eventually, or gradually, what do you call it? Then that baby will going to grow, and then baby will going to begin to able to understand and they recognize those alphabet and vowels and few words, right? And then crawling and standing up, walking, or this is all these things is happening. So gradually and growing in this way. That's what exactly Buddha is saying here. Rimbe Kurwa Thame Chingwe Lentru Tsidanje Namshik Yang Na Salje Yige Dadun Tsindru Mashings. Then start to talk and the verbalizing. And Chibi Momba Dalne Sherab Chikwanyes. And then gradually when it further grows, then this ignorant of childish or whatsoever the childish attitude will going to be will going to be separated from their mind, right? Separated from their mind, and then they will going to the baby that now no more baby, it's growth, and then that growth, let's say young, they get this intelligent to understand the distinguish between good and bad and so on, that they will begin to understand this one. Sherapchi Kwanye dos, that's they're saying he will that the person will going to they find that this kind of intelligent. Then lutop tarla pabe debiwangi dushenyamde, and then gradually this physical is going to be kind of like a growth further. And because of this physical growth and then age, it is kind of like a 15, 16, 17 years old. Now this is what Buddha is talking about. And during that period, and this Lutop Thala Baba means kind of like now it is about to become adult, right? Kind of like this is kind of like a becoming adult. Adult means now you have this intelligent enough. You already eliminate this childish attitude. You changed it, your childish attitude towards your attitudes moving towards adultness. And then when that moment, then mainly that Buddha said, that mainly will going to be this is the main conditions which kind of like pressed our intelligent, our concept or to understanding everything properly, that our intelligent will going to press down or kind of like it's not letting functioning properly out of desire lust, that he's exactly talking about here. This debi wangi, deba is generally desire. The last is the one of the desire, right? And then desire general to everything. And last, it is only related with the human and human, is it, honey? Human and human. The last emotion is only lust. Only human and human, right? It will not going to talk with the material. It does?
Lust after possessions.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I'm wrong. I thought it lust is only the specific talking about some sort of like the interest in intercourse and those things, and male female.
Usually, but a lustful person can lust after food.
I see. Okay, so those we use desire, right?
Desire you can also use for
okay, anyway, so you are understanding what I am saying here, that what Buddha is saying here exactly. So here I'm not making it here, I'm just telling whatever Buddha taught here, regardless what is going on with anybody, including with me, myself, and forget about this one. So what is in the teaching Buddha said here, because of this condition, the desire, and that kind of like they press down this our intelligent, so won't be able to function properly. And because of that desire, then it is saying dungal jitsawa kepanam pimenam kepala chas. Then Buddha saying the main root of the suffering, which is males are chasing after female, females will going to chase after male. So male will going to start lasting to female, right? Last, and then females will going to begin or start to lasting to male. And this is what Buddha is saying, the root of the problem, root of the suffering. Dungal jitsawa kebanam pimenam kebala chaks. And because of that last, and ningbo maybe chawala nenji jubi löst, then we will going to engage into those activity, those actions, which doesn't have any essence, which doesn't have any meaning, but we're willing to, because of that last, we're going to increase our interest to engage into those meaningless or essenceless activities. Le rong zawi chikla nawe nyen luji chu kai chambi chila netang dei rola che nyong Dongla miki kyang yang tashing, draw in yang dela zavi semten ches. Then because of that mind, the willing to engage into those essenceless or meaningless activities. And then the object that whoever once liked, male to female, female to male. And then what Buddha is saying is that listening whatever that person will going to say. And then those all words are, one feel these words are very sweet words. And sigla nawe nyen, luji chu, and then hug, right? Hug or embrace, hug, and kai changis, and then touching lips, like kissing, and then tila nedang, and then smelling that other person's whatever smell in the body or in the cloth whatsoever, nedang, and tei rola che nyongi, and then test of his body or whatsoever, and the experiencing or how to say, undergoing through our tongue, that touching and his part of body and whatsoever. And donla mikyang yayan tashing, and then watching at his or her face constantly again and again. Yayan tashing. And that kind of person who one have a last, even that person is actually our family's enemy, actually one's enemy, but still you will going to take care of that. That zawi semtenches, that drao yingyang dela zawi semtenches. Even though that other person is one's foe or enemy, but we will kind of like a treat as a kind of like the relatives, or treat as a friends, or treat as a what? Best, treat as a best. And the relatives here, Buddha was saying relatives, yes. And then at that moment, if our true relatives oppose about this, then one will going to begin to enmity with our own very true relatives. Enmity, right? Enmity. And then kind of like the hatred, we will going to generate hatred to our true relatives because of that purpose. And sarva lachashi. But not only that, now unfortunately, what Buddha is saying is sarva lachashi. Now that will not going to satisfy it. And new comes, right? For male, there will going to be new and new female. And for the female, there will going to be the new and new male. The kind of like maybe better looking than the previous, and better attitude than the previous. Kind of like a new look. And that human this is talking about Buddha introducing about general human's attitude. And then they like to have a new and new. Sarva la chashing. And then they change their last towards new and new. That one will not going to make satisfaction. Because of that, like the transforming our last to another and another, new and new, because of that. And then even Buddha saying, even the other's wife, and you're willing to have it. And then that now exactly word itself, it is talking about that. And then the indirectly, then male to female, female to male, same. They like to have a new and new. And the kind of like the tetar ninsha kashi tsamshik sola maybe sem zai langsue loduji miglong days. And then in this way, and few days or few months or sometimes, okay, sometimes tetar ninsha kashi tsamshik sola maybe sem zai langsue loduji miglong days. That kind of like a very strong lust or desire towards that object, towards that person. And because of that emotion, this emotion will going to cover our intelligent eye. This our intelligent eye to able to see the genuine, true, right and wrong. That intelligence will going to cover by this emotion. Just like how the Buddha giving example, just like langboche tamdo jingwa tar, kurwi janzo tamendo jingyang. Just like how elephants are stuck in the muddy place, yeah, just like how those elephants stuck in the muddy place, just like that, that person is stuck his mind in this lust and desire towards that particular person. Jingwa taras, kurwi janzo tamedo jingyangs, and because of those strong emotion, and it will bind oneself into the kind of like a hopeless, the hopeless liberation from samsara. That okay, anyway, so it will bind us very firm into samsara, that ocean like samsara, jinkyang. Even though it will bind us into this kind of like a the ocean like samsara, but still out of ignorant, out of this desire and lust. And what they really feel is they themselves pride, that they themselves thinking they are doing such a great job. The pride, that what Buddha is saying, that pride. Even you think, oh, this whatever I am doing, it's nothing wrong. It is something normally what people are doing. It is very normal. It is something I should do it when I am adult. That kind of assumption will going to be there. Because of that assumption is there, so therefore feel pride of doing this rather than feeling ignorant. Not going to be feeling ignorant. Instead of ignorant, feeling pride that this is something I should do because of I am human. So that kind of assumptions will going to be generate or arise from there. And therefore, one think this is something I should do. This is excellent. I'm caring someone. I'm in love with someone. This is excellent. One thing, one feels it is excellent. So therefore, and then Buddha said, therefore, Zeshing, Kyamdang, Yodang, Gadang, Laldang, Debe Kubi, Lu Kyojin, Zumshin, Maorchis. So, and then because of those emotion and pride, and then assuming that what I am doing is something excellent. And because of that, and this person will going to spend their time with the kind of like a playing with that person and wander together with that person. Yeah, play, wander, and then yo means cover the one's fault, one's weakness, one's fault, try to hide. That's what it's saying. That yes, this is exactly right. We try to hide our weakness to that particular person, because we think if we show this our weakness to that particular person may kick me out. So therefore I don't want that particular person to understand my weakness. So therefore I need to protect or cover my weakness or my fault or my the whatsoever the weakness is good enough, I think, right? So and then love, right? Play, wonder, hide, and love. And then just love. And then because of this play, wonder, hide, and love, this makes tired. And then saying lull. Lull is like actually, oh, this is lull. And then after you play, wonder, hide your all weakness and love, then you feel lull. And then after you feel this lull, then what to do? Then sleep together. Out of desire, and embrace each other, right? Embrace each other, sleep together. And then while that, in this way, then showing very smile, in very nice face each other, smile each other, and talk very nice, sweet talk each other at that moment. And then this way that the adultness, that humans, adults, they they try to spend their life, their time in this way. That's what Buddha saying, Mawar says. So now, at this moment, I would like to add some Guru Padma Sambhava's great advice in this moment. Yes, Buddha didn't say this one here in this history. Buddha didn't say it. I will going to add this what Guru Padma Sambhava said related with it. Even though we play, wonder, right? Wonder means going together, right? Wonder and hide our weakness or fault, love, and then lull, and then sleep together. After doing all these things, what both really looking or seeking is something pleasant, pleasure, happiness. And every adult thinks that brings this one. The fact what Guru Padma Sambhava said here, but yet what we are getting it through this is what Guru Padma Sambhava said is that Kimta dila jarma thadoni thabmo kunzu nyangen dungal gyus. It is very interesting that it is very good to know even those lay, especially these are for the lay, okay, not for the Odin. Odin, this is useless. This is no need. This advice is no needed for Odin. This all history, what Buddha Shakyamuni is saying, this is for us. This is for lay, not for the Odin. Odin doesn't have this problem. So this advice is really for lay and who have a family and who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, who have a spouse. This advice for particularly focused to those audience. Is it audience? And those audience. So this is really that we need to understand who are lay, who have a spouse, who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, and they are the specific audience. And then those audience persons, yeah, it is good to understand. It is still good to understand, but mainly this advice is for us. So we need to pay more attention that how Shakyamuni Buddha talking about this, how human beings spending their time normally, and then Guru Padma Sambhava's advice, as I said earlier. As I said earlier, what Buddha said here, adult time we will try to spend in this way, either play or wonder or kind of like a hide one's weakness or love each other and then lull and then sleep. In this way, we want to spend the idleness. But the fact, Buddha didn't say this, but the fact, I would like to add here Guru Padma Sambhava's advice. We are hoping through all these activities to seeking something pleasant and happy. But what really it is establishing or your begin is, what is that? What Guru Padma Sambhava is? Kimdap dela jarma thatunes. What does mean? There's only two lines. Kimdap dela jarma thaduni thabmo kun zu nyangen dungal gyu. Okay? What Guru Rinpoche says, the first line, as soon as these two meet each other, as soon as these two joined, right? These two joined means boyfriend, girlfriend. As soon as you begin boyfriend, girlfriend each other, as soon as you begin husband and wife each other, that's what it means, the first line. Kintab dela jarma thaltoni. Immediately once joined boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband was wife. Kimtap, the mainly spouse, husband, wife. It is directly husband and wife. And it can be include those boyfriend, girlfriend too, because the boyfriend, girlfriend is also joining two person each other, right? Joining two person each other. So that's jar. Jar is kind of like a combine to stick two things each other, stick. That's jar. Jarma thaktu. Thaktu means immediately. Immediately after stick, this two person each other. At that really moment, what Guru Padmasambhava said, at that really moment, you or I, myself, rooted the seed of this five fruition. Rooted the seed, right? Rooted the seed of those five fruition. What are those five fruition? And he mentioning. First is conflict. You rooted the seed of conflict. And then second one is enmity. You rooted the seed of enmity or grudge, right? Grudge or enmity. And then the third one, you rooted the seed of argument. And then the fourth, rooted the seed of grief. And then the fifth one, rooted the seed of difficulties. You see, this is really to the lay person. At this Guru Padmasambhava advice is particularly focused for the lay who have a family members. So both husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, if they understand all this knowledge, it is very helpful. It still makes better relationship actually. Because of lacking this information, then what we hope is, we hope opposite. We hope something, oh, it will going to bring very pleasant and success, which is fake, which is not truth. The truth is, fact or truth is this one. As soon as these two connected, sticked each other and rooted the seed of this five fruition, that is fact. And understanding fact will going to reduce problem actually. We hesitate to understand this fact. We don't want to hear this one actually sometimes. But that's the mistake we are making it. If one needs boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, then must understand this. It is very helpful by understanding this. It solves automatically many problems by understanding its fact. And it is also help us to accept uncertainty by understanding this too. Yeah, it is unpleasant to hear. Yes, definitely. Just like a impermanent or particularly the death, it is certain. Nobody wants to hear it. But focus, contemplate on death, impermanent, and then try to make it familiar one's mind towards death and uncertainty of death. Very helpful, actually. Similar here, these kind of information, particularly that who have a family, who have a spouse, who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, how to say, must understand this one. Then you will going to understand, you will going to know how to deal with the problem, how to deal with the situation. Otherwise, then blind. Then when something happens, doesn't know what is this, where it has come from. It has come from sticking each other actually. Then we lost ourselves. That's exactly Guru Padmasambhava said. And likewise, so you see, since we rooted the seed of this five fruition, then how we cannot have this fruition now? Because you rooted the seed. You cannot say now it shouldn't grow. If you don't want to grow that fruition, you shouldn't seed that. You should not seed, you should not root that seed. Sowed that root, is it? Sowed that seed, yeah. So this is very important to understand. Shouldn't neglect, must listen people, especially people, as I again and again saying, who willing to have relationship. And then also what Guru Padmasambhava said, another interesting thing is that he said, Nyenjam chawa tati, nyenjam tati nyenla ngwenzindes. What he said was, this relatives support, the relatives that we are recognizing to our the family members or a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, we recognizing them as our relatives, right? That's what it means, Guru Padmasambhava. Nyenjam tati nyenla ngwenzindes. You are recognizing, or you are kind of like a pointing, oh, my spouse is my relatives, my supporter. My supporter, yeah. Relative, not relatives, right? Supporter. Relatives? Yeah, my relatives or my supporter. Actually, what Guru Padmasambhava is that we point out, or we recognizing, right? Recognizing. We recognize that our spouse or family member is our relatives or supporter. And what Guru Padmasambhava, the fact genuine relatives or the supporter is the spiritual guidance. Spiritual guidance is your fact or genuine supporter or relatives. Thati nyenji shasa shinduche is that this spouse or family members, those relatives, they will kind of like a show, yes, absolutely. They will show some kind of like a support and show some protections to you. And they will show some kind, loving kindness and compassion towards oneself, towards me. But the fact, what Guru Rinpoche is saying, Shatsa Shindu Ches and outlook, they're showing some compassion, they're showing loving kindness, they're showing some support, protections to me. But the actual what they're doing, what those spouse, particularly spouse and family relatives, what they will going to do is, okay, here, they will going to become condition for myself to give up my spiritual path. And then my spouse or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, each other, they teach each other whatever in a mundane, there's something to do, like those nonsense things, essence-less activities, like hanging out together, drinking together. They teach each other how to drink, how to smoke, how to hang out, how to play, how to hide, how to be how to love, how to wander, and how to sleep together, and how to have everything. They teach this all essence-less teaching, actually. That's why exactly Chöshol, on the one hand, it will become condition for myself to postpone and give up a spiritual path. On the other hand, we teach each other whatever nonsense there. So Guru Rinpoche even didn't mention it specifically. Why? Because it teach each other everything. Whatever nonsense there, they will teach, right? So therefore, Guru Rinpoche doesn't need to mention it specific. We teach each other how to drink. We teach each other how to smoke. We teach each other how to drug. We teach each other how to lie, how to deceive, how to cheat, how to love, how to, how do you call it, play, how to hang out, how to sleep, everything. And then within each category, and then even with the one thing, drinking, and then there's many different skills to drink. For instance, when you put the wine, you should put the glass like just little bit less than the half of glass, like that kind of teaching. They will teach, right? And that's very kind of like a fun, and this is something very professional, isn't it? They consider this is doing this way is professional. And then also they will teach how to carry the glass, isn't it? How to carry the glass, put into here finger or here finger, or how to hold. See, that's why Guru Rinpoche didn't mention very specific here. Guru Rinpoche tired, and he said, oh, they will going to teach each other whatever they are. He just let it be there. That's what it means. Shul, in the one hand, give up the spiritual path. On the other hand, they will teach each other whatsoever it's possible there. Shul, you see? And then, what's the next? Shul, pengen mangbo changshin khorwar. And then many useless bad example gives, and then pull both of oneself and others down to the samsara firmly further. That's what Guru Padma Sambha said. Pengen mangbo changshin khorwar. This is really fact, truth. And then, yes, we use, then when the other one, the boyfriend or girlfriend or husband and wife, when they didn't behave well, and then one will going to give example. Look, other husband, how he is treating his wife. You should treat like him. That's the bad example, right? That's exactly saying Guru Padma Sambha, pengen mangbo changshin, that the saying so many bad examples. This is one example here. We do, right? And then boyfriend, girlfriend also do that. Oh, boyfriend shouldn't be like this way. Girlfriend shouldn't be like this way. Girlfriend should care about boyfriend. Boyfriend should care about girlfriend. And then even within a caring, or boyfriend should carry the bags of girlfriend, or should open the door of the girlfriend first. Let girlfriend get in first. And this kind of things, pengen mangpo transing. And if boyfriend doesn't do that, and then next time girlfriend will going to be said, right? Oh, look, the other boyfriend, how he is treating his girlfriend, opening door and letting her sit in first, and then very professional, very gentleman. You should learn that. And then boyfriend also will going to say that, oh, the girlfriend, you know how he is treating well to his boyfriend, cooking and cleaning his washing his clothes, blah blah. This kind of pengen mangbo dancing here. Guru Rinpoche also here again, he didn't specify it. He just said countless of bad example will use to convince and sink further in samsara very firm. That's what Guru Padma Sambhava said. That exactly we're doing it. If the boyfriend didn't act proper, then immediately give examples. If the girlfriend didn't perform the proper, then immediately boyfriend will going to start exampling some other girlfriend. And husband, wife is same. If the husband didn't treat properly to the wife, and wife will going to be use some other examples of other husbands. And wife is also same. When the wife didn't treat well to husband will going to use those useless example, the bad example of pulling some other wife on it, and then look, you should learn from her. This is really happening. This is truth. That is something whether we like or dislike doesn't matter actually. This is very good to understand, very good to know. So here, what mainly I'm saying, pengen mangpo transhin khurwarkyu. And then last one, this is very most interesting word. I felt that this one is great advice. What he said, mepa tsalji minye tumalju, and he ended up his advice there. In short, brief, what he said, mepa tsalji minye dungalju, that you are looking something which is non-existent. through this. Through this relationships, and what we are seeking and looking is pleasant and happy, which is not exist. What Guru Rinpoche is saying, which is not exist through this method. Through this method, achieving pleasure and happy, it's not exist. Mepa Tsalji, that you are finding something which is not exist. Mepa Tsalji. And minye, and then you will not find. Yes, you will not find because you're finding something not exist. Then dungal ju. Then it becomes when you couldn't found it that pleasant, happy, then it becomes the cause of one's suffering. That's what Guru Rinpoche said. Here I'm adding based on this Buddha's advice. Here, Buddha didn't mention this here. Buddha jumped to the next stage instead of his detailing about this moment. He jumped to the next moment. But I am adding here because Buddha said here, right? Playing, wandering, hide, love, and lull, and then sleep together. And we tried through relationship, we try to spend our time, generally our time, and particularly the adultness, the young, youthness. The youth or young, yeah, this is, we can see right now, right? The most of the young adult just become adult until, let's say, average is 40, 50. They want to spend their time in this way. After 40, 50, then they understand. They understand the real natural of samsara. Then they understand that. And then a little bit tired from there. Until that, what Shakyamuni Buddha is saying is, this period, they try to spend their time in this way. But yet, what Guru Padmasambhava give advice, with this attitude, with this activity, what we're looking is pleasant and happy, pleasure. But through this method, trying to achieving pleasant and happy pleasure, it is something that Guru Rinpoche said, you are looking something which is not exist. It is we need to understand that intellectually. Even though sometimes we feel, oh, not really all the time. Sometimes I really get pleasant. Sometimes I really get happy, pleasure. This is not, it is not talking about that way. Guru Rinpoche is not nonsense, right? It's talking about the average, right? Average and the timing, right? So let's say 1 year relationship and more than half year problem, isn't it? Like that. So anyway, so this is what Guru Padmasambhava advised. And this is something, it is what I think myself is that we need to contemplate on these things. Even as I said earlier, especially those who have a spouse, who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, and they must study these things. And person who doesn't have a boyfriend, girlfriend, then this is far, right? This problem is non-exist for those person. And they have their own problem, their own different problem. Then now, to that, regards to that, and then those Buddhas give a different method to them. They should find different method. Anyway, so, and then Buddha's advice is jumping to the next moment. And then he's just saying, adultness, we try to spend our time with this kind of 6 different activities. And then 대잉 안에 뒤집항비 쇠딱 고유 짝가로와서 마초로 신도 카와바바따 worms. And while try to spend our idleness in these 6 different activities, right? Mainly these 6 different activities. And then while we spending our time in this way, without any aware notice that one will going to become old. The sign of the old showing in hair, becoming white. That's what exactly is it. Sweta gota karwa. So, and the sign of the old shows the become white hair, and then wrinkle, so forth. Here, what Buddha said, white hair and so forth. So forth means wrinkle, right? Wrinkle, and then losing teeth, and then losing the power of vision, losing the power of hearing, and all this, the sign of getting old, and losing the sense, losing everything, degenerating our faculties, right? So that's what it means. Without aware, without notice, and then it is just going to happening. How that when snow falls, it all makes white. Just like that, this whole hat becomes like a snowfall. This right now I have black, right? Sooner or later, this will going to be white, like a snowfall on, like that. Shakyamuni Buddha saying, this will going to happening, this will going to come without aware, without notice, because all the time we are focusing, spending on those 6 activities. We are not paying attention to becoming old, right? Therefore, it becomes unawarely happen, unnoticedly happen. If I am aware about impermanent and all this, then this is something not happening unawarely. This is something not happening unnoticedly. This is happening with the notice, with the aware. But generally, Buddha's what is again? Generally, youth, human, spending their time in this way. And then they are so lost in this activity. So without aware, without notice, they become old. So you see, Buddha is moving to the next instead of detailing, saying detail about the youthness. Move to the next. And Timu Mumbi, Nandu Lutendila, Sonam Sanje may be Kar, Migyo Mambu, she so Shimbane, Tsela Kumboshoa, the Namejingani Geshings. And then out of all this ignorant, and while our intelligence is dulled or covered by this ignorant, right? Those desire, lust, and then the pride, and then assuming I'm doing something normal human being supposed to do, like that kind of excellent, to feeling something I'm doing excellent. This is all ignorant. And out of those ignorant, while ignoring one's intelligent, and then this within this form, within this body, and there's a while one spending our time into any of these 6 activities. These 6 activities will not going to help us to even accumulate the tiny bit of merit, right? So that's why exactly what Buddha is saying, Sonam Sante may be Kar. So there's no any merit that one accumulated. Not just not accumulated the merit, but on the other hand, but on the other hand, for those 6 different activities, purpose, that we accumulate lots of demerit, and we engage into negative, non-virtuous actions. It is not just not accumulating merit, but on the other hand, this makes myself engage into demeritorious activity. And while accumulating demeritorious activity, and then and without aware, and this life is just stolen by some thief, and we will going to become old. And when we become old, then Buddha saying, Pime geba jogek trawe sugi meto tenji cedong tenji ce dongen gopor songa. And when the female becomes old, and how it will going to look like, it will going to look like, Buddha giving the example, it will going to look like the what do you call it, in a autumn, just before the winter, in the autumn time, right? Autumn, the autumn time, at the autumn occasion, how those all beautiful trees turning to the kind of like a naked tree, right? Without leaves and without anything. And when female become old, looks like that. And then Buddha said further, when males become old, how it looks like, Keba geba nakitu kamshin chakwadas. And when male become old, how it looks like, it will going to looks like those wild monkey when they out of not getting enough food, not getting enough water, how their body looks, those wild monkey in a forest. And male, when male become old, it will going to look like that. Then shunu serji junshin yitok teang zedan tawa simbu subi shingdan gyurwana. Then all this youthness, it's stolen. This is stolen by old. This old come and is stolen all those youth, youngness, youthness. And it is just becomes like the Junshin Yito Teang, that how it, he's using this, Buddha is using metaphor there, example, how this beautiful tree, and taking out all its leaves, flower and branches, and how it becomes. And that both male and female, when they become old, it just becomes like that, looks like that, without any characteristic or kind of like a, what to say? Yeah, there's no any characteristics left now. Yeah, nothing left it. That's what the Buddha is saying exactly here. And nachun shunu mikitawa ringne pongwarches. And then at that moment, when I become old, and then what will going to happen? This what Buddha is saying. Those young lady will going to abandon me. Not just abandon, even they will not going to look at you. You see, mikitawa ringne pongwarches. Any lady jikte so yo tra se top nyams. And then out of this our karma, and this itself is impermanent. It's keep changing, right? Because of it is keep changing, therefore this all teeth will going to be pulled out, or it will going to become zigzag. Twisted, yeah. So yo. All teeth will going to twist, so yo. Tra se means all hair will going to loss, become ball. Ball, yeah. Tra se. And top yam is kind of like a loss all the strength of the body, lost all strengthened. And then lung to the ukseks. And then like our breath, when we become old, our breath become like one own other wind or other breath. Breath will going to be kind of like a difficult, shallow. Yeah, breath will become shallow. Tadong pasha jiseba mase par diva pashi sogos. What Buddha is saying, but still those. Okay, so here now Buddha is talking about the second point. Okay, second point, how general human being spending their time. This is all talking about this. Okay, from the play, wonder, hide, love, lull, and then slip together out of last. And from here to all this, Buddha expressing how generally humans, they spend their time, their life. Okay. So this is second point. How humans born, already described, how it grows, described. After growth, how they try to spend their life, their time in this way. This is general, right? People who doesn't have any spiritual practice, any spiritual understanding, any spiritual training, then yeah, they are spending life there this way. Tadung Pacha Jiseba Maseparis. But still, that teeth are twisted already, hair are lost already, and then strengthen is degenerated or lost strengthens. And then this breath is what? Shallow, the breath. It becomes all those, which means very old, right? Even, what Buddha saying, even out of habit, that unable to eliminate this desire and lust, still trying to engage into demerit activity. Still. And then while in trying to engage into demerit activities, still staying on it, while spending in this time, this way, then this is example that when poor person, how to say, when poor chased by loan, understandable? Poor chased by loan. Huh? Loan sharks. They're called loan sharks. Yeah. When poor get loan sharks, what poor is supposed to give now? Right? There's nothing to give because poor. So just like that, this is Buddha using metaphor, example. Just like that. Just like a poor shocked by loan, right? Just like a poor shocked by loan. Is not that right? I don't know how to say it. Chased by loan shark. Okay. Just like a poor man chased by loan shark. Okay. Just like that, this death is going to be happen. This death is something, it is chasing, it is chasing loan shark, right? Chasing loan shark that actually we doesn't want to give. We doesn't have to give or we doesn't want to give. Just like those poor doesn't want to give the loan. Got nothing to give back. And then this death is coming. And then when that death coming, and how general human beings are, this is very important here again. This is talking about, Buddha's talking about death procedure. The procedure of death here. And how general human beings, what procedure of death will going to look like, right? What the procedure of death going to look like. Now here Buddha introducing that. When this death come, then how that particular person will going to face the death or procedure the death is sadang, kangba, nordang, yokors, that property, house, wealth, finance, including wealth means including everything, right? Wealth, and then servant, and then what do you call it? Follower, and then son and daughter, and then wife. All those 6. That person will going to die with the sense of attachment towards these 6. This is something general. Some people may attach to all of them 6, and some people may going to attach any of those, and some people may going to attach one of those. It depends. It depends on individual. Here, Buddha talking about the general. Generally, when that kind of person died, that how death procedure will going to be, it's this way. Either any of one or to the many of those, or to the all of those. With the attach, with the desire, with the not being able to let it go, that's how that person will going to die. So you see, this is something very important message for each and every one. When we die, if oneself able to let it go, any of this or all of this, actually all of this, if oneself able to let it go, all of this, that could procedure in a very smooth way. As we can see, some people dying in a very smooth way, right? That is one reason, is because that particular person able to letting it go, all these things, accepting uncertaintiness of death. When accept uncertaintiness of death, then that makes the able to let it go, all these things. Will not going to cherish after this, will not going to worry about this son, daughter, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and wealth, property, house. Able to let it go. And when one able to let it go, desire or attach to this object, then death can be smooth. But also has to understand this one. Nowadays, these technologies are so improved. They give one injection and send you in a very smooth way. That's not talking about, okay? This is, forget it. This is not talking about, okay? This is not necessarily that you're able to let it go, all of these things, therefore you are smoothly dying. No, this is because of this drug letting you smoothly go. And when this drug over, this attach may come back. And when this attach come back, you already in an intermediate state. Nothing to do. Even you come around, look. And then this is also another very important message is that when the particular person, when they died, if the person died with the attachment towards any of this or all of this, when person died in this way, that death becomes condition for that, the, what you call a conscious, to come back and disturbs their family members. Very important. Needs to understand this one. Normally we say, oh, after some such and death, and ghost happening in house, right? Why ghost happening? Because of that owner is died with the attachment towards this house. He is unable to let it go, this house. Therefore, he is taking care. He's just being owner of the house as how he is before. And when he is being owner of the house, and if you stay there, then you feel bothered. Actually, he is not bothering you. You are bothering him. He is just possessing his own properties. And not just that, also this all disturbance. Actually, they are not doing intentionally many times. They're just doing like their own things. And that becomes disturb to me. Because I think that person shouldn't be here because already dead, right? But all over suddenly, something is strange happening in the house, which makes me scary. Actually, he's supposed not to make me scary. He just doing what he's supposed to do it. And that becomes disturbed. And particularly to the family members. If I am family member of that, then actually they want to help me. But because of their help, because they are dead already, we cannot accept their support. Therefore, their support becomes disturbs. That is also the very important how ghost is happening. Ghost happens when the person died, and then during the procedure of death, if the person is die with that sense of attachment, sense of unable to letting it go, then that conscious could become the ghost, evil, right? Demons. That's how demons begin, actually. That's so far the one of the demons. So here, very interesting, important message that Buddha giving here, okay? In this way, this is now all talking about the general human being, how they spend their life, and then how they will going to end their life here. They will going to end their life with this way, attaching to all of this or any of this or one of this, and then die. Chiwa dedag zinchardans here now again. Buddha saying, because of when the person died, and because of this attachment while the person's dying, one thing, that's the cause, that's the condition. Yeah, that's the condition. And then digbinaminjis. And then while he is alive, what he spent, how he spent, what he done is all engaging into demeritorious activity, right? Demeritorious activity. And that's the cause. The condition is not able to dying properly, means not being able to let it go, all the desirable objects. That's the condition. And then the cause is while that person is alive and engaging into demeritorious activity. And because this both causes and condition combine, the result, fruition, what it will going to produce is Sangchen Tongcha Nangdu Sume Chebadang. Now Buddha saying this. Sangchen is this, the great copper container. Now this is Buddha talking about hell, okay? This great copper container. Within this great big the copper container, thousands of those big copper container, in that you will going to boil. That person's will going to boil. That will going to be the fruition of these two causes and condition. And mube tigna soba. And then different hell beings like those mube tigna and so forth. Buddha said so forth. Then mube tigna and the Tsawa, Rapsa, Narma, Narme, those 18 hell, right? 18 hell realms. So within those hell, and then Dungal Bashik Nyongos, that they constantly, continuously experience the suffer and difficulties. Okay, here, Buddha didn't just mention person will going to born in hell and suffer, constantly, continuously suffer. He also, the point here, what he mentioned is, he also mentioned the very key point, what is the exactly cause and condition. So if I myself doesn't want to fall in hell realms, then what I need to avoid is these two causes and condition. When I die, I should not attach to anything. I should try myself to let it go, everything. That training, that preparation has to prepare from now, not during the death time. Tomorrow I die, today I prepare to let it go, everything. No, it will never going to work. Then at that time, late. At that time, you may going to become stronger attached than before. If I don't train from now. So this letting it go training has to be done from now, that whenever you understood how to prepare. Since then, every day remembering impermanent and accepting uncertainty, and then understanding the fact, even though I attach to my wife, my husband, my son, daughter, my property, my house, my wealth, the fact it's not going to come with me. Thinking this way and one needs to train or convince one's mindset to able to accept it from now. And then when we are getting old, and then this kind of attach becomes lesser and lesser, reduce. And then when really happens the death, at that moment it becomes easy to let it go, everything. So when oneself able to let it go everything and then die in a very smooth way, then what one done, that we remove the conditions to fall oneself into the hell, isn't it? And then the cause, which is while I am alive, always engaging into demeritorious activities. To avoid that, what we need to avoid? We need to avoid the sense of pride, then assuming that I am doing something what humans supposed to do, should do. And this is something I should do. This is nothing wrong. I should play. I should wonder. I should hide. I should love. I should lull. I don't know how to translate lull. I should sleep all the time. So I'm not saying this is something that being a lay, it is completely prohibited or forbid for us to do it. I'm not saying that. But spending whole our time, energy, and the hard work for this purpose, then that becomes lost. So you need to have some other sense together with it. And finding someone who I love, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, finding something like that, and then playing, wandering, hiding, love, lull, and sleep together, that shouldn't put our priority. That's the main message here, okay? Shouldn't put, this is something, my meaning of life. Then everything is collapse. This is something, yeah, it could happen out of our habits, out of whatsoever. And then we should limit those rather than kind of like a putting effort, energy, time 24/7 on it. Even not 24/7, but 24/4 days. Even not worth to spend 24/4 days on it. Half of it. 24/3 days. Maybe it's okay, 24/1 day, maybe. 24/1 day. And most 24/2 days. But 5 days, try to spend on spiritual. And put those spiritual training or the preparations like this way is our priority. And don't put this is our life, meaning of life. Don't put this is our priority of life. Priority, right? Priority. Always put priority is spiritual practice. So therefore, okay, now with this Buddha complete how normal human beings, they spend their life until the death, it's complete, right? And then now, third topic in this history. Now Buddha is telling the main point, how to spend a meaningful life, right? This is also another question. How to spend meaningful life? And then this is the answer, what Buddha said. Deves, so therefore, Kene Langso Tarla Papi says, from birth to adult, right? From birth to adult, those times. This adult is actually, one thing also that what I want to say is this adultness is the moment or is the occasion that one can do both very perfectly, either spiritual or mundane. Yeah. This adult right now, for instance, like myself, this age, this whatsoever, the strongness or whatsoever, this is perfect for both, not only for one. Okay. This can perform very well, either mundane or spiritual. So therefore, what Buddha is saying here, this adultness from birth to this adult, while we are in adult, in order to spend ourselves in a meaningful, what one should do is what he said. Tilok thosam gombanam ngontok ngelek thobjings. So, writing scripture, reading scripture, and listening scripture, contemplating on those teachings, and then meditating upon its meaning here. Ti, lok, the, sam, gombanam. Those 5 activities that Buddha is asking in order to make a meaningful life, what one should make this is something one should make it priority or purpose of our life. That this D is kind of like a, sorry, not the writing. D is kind of, I think this is talking about also like asking questions, asking questions and removing doubt, and then reading, and then listening spiritual teaching, right? Listening spiritual teaching, and then contemplating on those scriptures, and then meditating upon its meaning after one's contemplate and determine, and then meditating upon one's determinations. Doing those 5 of engaging into those 5 types of activity will going to bring the result or fruition is higher realm as well as liberation. That's what Buddha said. And then particularly here, Buddha said this, particularly, especially, and particularly, especially if one, in order to prevent the born again in samsara, and then to achieve the fruition of liberation, for that purpose, what one should engage into method is, then he gave these 2 methods. This is very important, okay? Timelo things in gombadang. 1, chik, doanam to tushu zes. That's it now. Particularly, especially in order to prevent rebirth again in samsara, for that purpose, you should engage into these 2 methods, which is, the first one is meditating upon samadhi of stainless mind, 1. And then dhoanam toitu shuddha. Second thing is that you should astorate yourself. Is it? Astorate? Astorate. Put effort. Astorate. Put effort, right? Put effort. Yeah. Put effort to help and liberate other beings. See, these are the 2 key points here. And so now, within this history, Buddha is very clearly giving us that how we human beings are born and grow, and how we will going to spend our life, and then to spend our life in a meaningful way, and particularly that what should put our priority of our life is this one. You see, the main key point is this. So why I am telling you this history related, that Buddha said mainly 2 jobs. 1, engage into this method which is to meditate upon samadhi of stainless mind. And then the second one is put effort, hardship to help and liberate the beings. Here, what Shantideva was saying here. The Buddhas are my true unfailing friends. Boundless are the benefit they bring. And this is what Buddha himself doing it. Either the main his two activities is either he is in a meditating in samadhi, the stainless mind samadhi, or he is putting effort to support and liberate other beings. We can see within his whole life, his story. The mainly within his life, he's doing these two activities. And based on what he did, and then how he is advising to others. And this, if you're able to engage yourself into this way, and that makes meaningful life. Successful life or meaningful life, yes, meaningful life. Yeah. And then exactly what Shakyamuni Buddha said here, these two things, right? Exactly Guru Padmasambhava said too, when he gave advice to the king of Tibet. And those examples to the lay, okay? This is particularly to the lay. The audience are lay, they're giving this advice to the lay. And he gave this advice to the king of Tibet, which is lay, which have a family, which has a wife, children, son, daughter. And what he's saying, he also said exactly same meaning, but in a different word. What he said is, Tingzin samwa tseji gomzuji, simjin panche mato che zhen me. That either you should engage yourself into Tingzin samwa tseji gomzuji, single pointed, meditate the single pointed profound samadhi. And simjin penje mato che zhen me. And then benefiting beings. So you see, Guru Padmasambhava very short. Benefiting beings or single-pointed meditating upon profound samadhi. Other than these two activity, there's a no dharma. So engage into spiritual means either of these two things. There's no any other spiritual, other dharma. So through this way, what I'm hoping is that so we can understand what we should put our priority, what we should put our purpose of life, and how to spend meaningful life. Okay, as earlier I was saying, it is not something that, it is not something we also, Shakyamuni Buddha is asking, or Guru Padmasambhava is saying that you should engage into any of these two activities 24/7 either. Okay, they are not hoping that. Not 24/7 asking. But what they really want us to settle our mind is put this as a priority. Yeah, 24/7 is difficult for lay, isn't it? Being a household, having all these relatives, families, son, kids, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then spending 24/7 into these two activity. Who will going to feed your son? It is not talking about that way, okay? So mainly through this history, through this advice of Shakyamuni Buddha and Guru Padmasambhava here, what we need to understand really is the fact of relationship, the genuine truth deepness of relationship, and how we should prepare, how we should hope from there. Normally, we just hoping something not exist. Exactly, Guru Padma Sambhava said, right? You are looking, finding something which is not exist, then it becomes exactly cause for your difficulties. Yes, absolutely. When you try to find something which is not there, if you find, that makes you tired, and that's make you exhaust. And when one experience tired and exhaust, then difficulties. That is serve as difficulties. Then even I tried or difficult or exhaust, my tiredness and exhausting doesn't matter. Even I cannot find this something which is not exist. Even I tried or exhaust, so what? It is really so what now? Who cares now? This is really who cares? Who cares? You tired, you exhaust. If you don't want to tired, if you don't want to exhaust, don't look something which is not exist then. Anyway, so this is all advice for the household, okay? So household. And we must understand this fact rather than making up, trying to faking up, trying to fabricate so much. Doesn't matter how much we try to fabricate, doesn't matter how much we try to make up, we try to fake up, it will not going to work. It's already proven by whole history if we look back. All our ancestors, we don't have to look far, our own ancestor, none of them find it that. None of them found it that, right? None of them found it. That's very clear history. We don't have to look other history. We look our own ancestors' history. Anyway, so stop here. So today, yeah, we didn't went any stanzas, but still it is very important. Yeah, so what it is really saying, why I am telling you this history related with this first stanza, right? What's the main Buddha's purpose is to benefit others is the one of greatest his purpose. And then the second one is meditating upon stainless mind, meditating upon stainless mind samadhi, right? This too is the main key. And that message is for us. We should make this is our priority. This is our meaning of life. Don't exchange this for anything. This you keep it, foundation, base. And then if you get it, other one, it's okay to get it. Even you don't get it, but don't lose this one. Losing this one, then, as what Buddha said, and then we will going to die with the attachment, and then that becomes condition, and then we lose this priority, and then we spend whole our time with this play, wonder, hide, love, lull, and sleep out of desire, out of lust together. Always try to spend time in this way. And then putting effort to spend on this time itself will going to automatically force us to engage into many demeritorious activities, many various kind of demeritorious activities. As we can see very clear, I don't have to mention, right? And that becomes cause. Then no choice rather than going to hell, whether we believe or not. So this is something, yeah, we lay has to concern or contemplate. Contemplate? Yeah, concern and contemplate and search, analyze about it. Okay, so thank you. And now we'll go into do dedication. Oh, if you have question, you can ask for 5 minutes, maybe. Let's see. Sometimes you guys doesn't have any question, then we can just go rest. If you have question, you can unmute yourself. Dojilamo. Dojilamo.
To go, yes, to go.
You don't have a question?
To go. I can speak English not very well. Go.
Okay, anyway, so now we're going to do dedication then.
I want you tomorrow. You go somewhere or no?
Okay, I'll call you Dojilamo, okay? Yeah, so now we do dedication.
Yeah. Okay.
Zanam de tamje zibani thobne nye bendanam bamje shin chegana wala tubai siben zolendo wando varasho jambal pawe jidar kembandam kundu sambo te yan te shin te da kunji jesu ndalopchin Gewan de dan tamje rabdo ngo, gewan de yeshe okun, sunam yeshe tozo ne, sunam yeshe le jongwe, tamba kunyin tobar sho, sanje kusum nyebe chen lam dang, chunye minjur dembe chen lam dang, gendin meche dembe chen lab ki, Jidra ngoa melam dubar sho. Read in English. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscient and having vanquished the harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion. May I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jambal Yang, and in the same way as Samindabhadra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all being perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, Sunam, and wisdom, Yeshe, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulation. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sanje, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Chunyi, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Gendin, may this prayer of dedication be accomplished just as it is. Thank you. Have a good rest.
Go.
Yeah. See you.
See you to go.